Welcome back to another episode of the Pilots of the Caribbean podcast, where we talk about everything drones, the people that use them, and how they're being used in the Caribbean. You can find this podcast in this video version on YouTube and the audio-only version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else that you can get audio podcasts. You can also get in contact with us at our website, pilotsofthecaribbeanpod.com, or you can also find us on social media. Feel free to reach out, send a message, subscribe, follow, like, rate, review, all the things. This week's episode, we head to the island of Dominica to speak to a world-renowned photographer and videographer. Enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of the Pilots of the Caribbean podcast. And today I have with me Mr. Derek Galon. Hi, Derek. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. I'm really well. And thank you very much, Helen, for inviting me to your little podcast. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem. I'm really glad to have you here. How about you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, that can be a very long story. As you can see, I'm not exactly very young. I have lots of past. I can talk for hours. But to make it short,
That's all right.
I was born in Poland. I'm Polish. So excuse my strange accent, but that's still a little bit of Polish Eastern European accent. I studied arts in Poland. I started photography in Poland when I was 10. Then I moved to Canada and I continued working in Canada as a photographer and also as a videographer. And after many years, about 10 years ago, I decided with my wife to move to the Eastern Caribbean, and we now live in Dominica permanently. So I can say I'm a local Dominica photographer, videographer, but with lots of European and North American experience.
Okay. How was that transition from Canada to Dominica? What was that like?
Well, to be really honest, Caribbean feel for the first time we found home. We didn't feel very good in Poland. That were really tough times when the communism was collapsing. It was difficult. Then Canada was just about work and getting ahead and never felt like really we found our place. And then from Canada, we started to come and go to the Caribbean. We published some books, photography books about the Eastern Caribbean. And every time we came here for a job, it felt like we are coming home. So at one point we decided, if that is so, why should we still be in Canada and just visit Caribbean? Let's just make it really our home. And that's what it now is.
So you're living the dream of a lot of people. You moved out to the cold and you have that tropical weather year round now.
Yeah, even if tropical weather has some surprises, but actually now these days you can find surprises with the weather everywhere. Look at Spain, look at what's happening around the world. So it's not just us getting our hurricanes now, it's everywhere. So even more so, this is our home and we are happy to be here for good or for bad, whatever.
Nice work. So Derek, you are, well, I've seen you described as a fine photographer. Give me a little bit of information about it. What exactly is a fine photographer?
A fine art photographer. I studied arts, and it usually a different perspective. At the same time, I started to do photography, still in Poland, but arts gave me bigger understanding and bigger, wider set of tools, I would say, to create more advanced images, to take advantage of composition, of lighting, of different styles. So that helped me to push up quality of my work, and I'm obsessed with quality. So even though I don't look very young, I still learn, and I love learning and expanding my offer and finding new tools. So that was very important to me. And I did lots of art photography, which actually On the wall behind me, you can see some of my medals, which I keep as a kind of decor for my clients in the office. But that's mostly for the art creative photography done in studio. So that kind of photography gave me lots of international exposure. Now in Dominica, I do more typical commercial photography, like real estate, hotels, nature, food photography, all that. But still, the knowledge of art helps me to do as good job as I can achieve. So that's still important part of me.
Okay. And as you mentioned, the medals on the wall, I saw that on your website. You have an extremely long list of awards and recognitions that you've received. It actually has not complete list as the bottom one is like half a page long of awards. So congratulations on all of those achievements.
Thank you very much. I love what I do. And that's why this happens. If you really are into something, I strongly believe you can lift it us to level which is higher than your competition, your colleagues, because your love is in it and it shows. I'm sure you know how it feels, passion. It's not just another job. Oh yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's take a photo. It's always new. It's always fresh, exciting. It has to be that way, or otherwise I'll just switch into something else.
Do you have a most meaningful award that you won?
One award which was very surprising. I never thought I would get it. That was from Japan. It's not overall. It's a huge, heavy, big medal. But what's unusual about it is that it is a yearly Japanese free competition for every person who wants to enter, amateurs, beginners, professionals. It has just one subject, which makes it more difficult. It's easier if it's split to different sections, then it lowers number of entries in each section. It's easier doing. This has only one section, and amount of work was around 100,000 photographs submitted. And these Japanese guys, they give only 10 awards to winners from this 100,000 photographers. And when I got their letter on the medal, I just couldn't believe it's like winning lottery. 10 in 100,000 full of submitted images. Whoa. So that was, to me, I said more about luck than quality, because I've seen some absolutely stunning photographs submitted to which didn't win, and somehow might probably, because it was different, one of the studio works done in more fine art style didn't stand out somehow more, and they noticed that. But that was an award which I still can't believe I have.
Very good. Have you won any awards for drone shots?
Yes, I did, not just for photography, but also one of my current short documentary videos, a little film about Dominica, got the award as best film with the drone footage. So that's very nice.
So you would have started at a time where drones would not have been, well, may not even have been around for photography compared to how they're being used right now. So what caused you to go in that direction and to pick up using a drone as an additional tool for your photography?
Well, as I said, I always try to expand and to offer interesting new options and push up my offer to my customers. But early on, about more or less 15 years ago, I think, when DJI came with the first Phantom,
Right.
I found that I just have to try, see how it works, and if it adds to my tools, if this is something which can seriously contribute to my work. So I got my first drone. That was the first Phantom, which their standard was terrible. Well, crude, but at that time it was fascinating. But that was just a drone, and you had to buy the gimbal separately, and then you installed on that your early GoPro camera. And you tried to take a photo every 5 seconds and let it go blindly. You couldn't really see what's happening. You just see the drone in the air, and you try to think what it may see. And very often it was hit and miss, like half of the thing, but then took photo every 5 seconds, so for the next one will get better. So that was really challenging. But, well, it gave some good photographs, some good video clips, which actually added to my offer. I started to do some real estate photography and video in Canada at the time. And it was new, it was interesting, got kind of view from above. So that's how it started. I lost, of course, 1 or 2 of those Phantoms because they were very crude. The GPS almost non-existent. It was drifting with the wind, easy to crash. It was a good learning experience. Now, to fly the new drones, new generation of drones is just a dream.
Yeah.
You can almost go have a nap on the drone of Mars. So that's good.
And what do you fly today?
Today, I still use DJI, and I have a Mavic 3 Pro, and still have Mavic 2 Pro. In the meantime, I early on experimented with some different brands. Aero Sky, that was a huge hexacopter. Or simply frustrated that the early Phantoms could use only GoPro, which early GoPro was terrible. It has such a distorted image, it was like almost like a fisheye. It didn't have straight lines, it felt very amateurish to me. So this bigger hexacopter could manage bigger camera like a Sony Alpha, but it was even more tricky than Phantom, so I really gave up quite quickly, or I just couldn't. That was too difficult, too technical to make it usable, and I was losing the focus on photography, going into technical side, which is not what I intended. So,
okay.
So digitally came with better cameras, with already incorporated silver drones, and that was like a game changer. And of course, having the monitor to see what's happening safe through the camera. So that's why our brands in drones.
Yeah, they've come a really long way in a very short space of time. From the Phantom 4 to now, say from the original Phantom to the last model of the Phantom, and then the models that they're bringing out right now is a huge jump in what they're able to do.
Mind you, I'm sure you operate actually much more advanced drones than me, because what I use is called consumer drones. And you probably use LiDAR or some other more advanced drones which can do more technical aspect of video inspections and all that. I'm sure you have access to higher tools than me.
So my personal drone is I have a Mini 4 Pro, but for work, we fly the M100, the M300, the M350. We have a couple internal confined space inspection drones, so that's the drones that are in a cage, where they could take bumping against objects and that kind of thing. Yeah, we got have a couple of the ROVs, so robotic. Basically, it's a submarine drone, so you can use them for underwater inspection, and some robotic pipe crawlers, so you can go and do visuals. So you could go from pipes as large as 72 inches in diameter to as small as 4 inches.
Wow. So actually, I should interview you about that's one drones.
No, well, actually, I'm very interested to hear about the work that you do and the work that you've done. So you mentioned that photography and videography were some of the things that you do, but do you have any other services that you offer in Dominica as well?
I also offer drone mapping.
Okay.
But it's just a basic drone mapping using one of my stock drones, nothing with a LiDAR again. I consider that, but I have just one client over many years who asked if I have an option of LiDAR. So it's too expensive for just one job, and to keep it in the box, not really fly. So I do the drone mapping, but using just my Mavic 3, Mavic 2.
Okay. Do you like train photographers as well?
From time to time, but not very often. Dominica is very small. It has a very small group of photographers or of people who want to get into photography. They are just like, you can really count them all on their hand, and they are all friends, and you know what they are doing. And from time to time, we may exchange some knowledge, some tips, but it's too small to offer workshops. In Canada, I had workshops. And I had some other training here. Sometimes a visitor to Dominica wants to explore a little bit of nature photography, and I assist with that. But it's nothing which would be my routine part of my job.
Okay. I saw that you also produced a book or have a book series. How did that get started?
Actually, that was a while ago, and that was when we were still in Canada.
Okay.
And once we went for vacation to Grenada. And it was like, whoa, that is really a nice part of the world. And between me and my wife, immediately, okay, so what we're going to do about it? It's not just this. We drink champagne on steak, we're cool, and immediately we started saying, okay, it's so nice, what do? We do books, photography, coffee table books. So next trip to Caribbean was a kindly scheduled trip through several islands. And we had appointments with homeowners, garden owners, and we published a couple of books which were very well received on Amazon, 5-star reviews, and won some awards. Of course, because that was our passion. We really wanted to do it, regardless if they will be successful or not. We lose, we win. We wanted to do it. And people said it shows you love that work, and it was success. And because of these books, we started to get calls from the Caribbean saying, guys, we saw that book of you or the other book. Would you be interested in photographing our new boutique hotel or this or that? And that's how it started. So we started to go back and forth in Canada with these books on Amazon and in Europe on bookshelves of different shops. And that gave us that key to the door, opening the Caribbean region for us, coming as these photographs within these books, which are quite good, and people loved them. So that was immediately entry point, which was kind of approved by people, by businesses. So that was a big help, but we didn't realize doing these books, they will be so important for us.
What was the name of the is it a series of books, or do they all have different names?
2 books we published for ourselves. Tropical Homes of the Eastern Caribbean, and Exotic Gardens of the Eastern Caribbean. Both books are now out of print, but still on Amazon and eBay. You can find some used copies going around. And they were really posh, thick, full of really technically good photography too. Again, I always look for perfection. I don't want to sound like, self-advertising, but I spent lots of time comparing other coffee table books, time seeing what's good and bad about them, learning from it, and making sure I can improve and make something which will really stand out.
So, well, first of all, I'll find the link for the Amazon book and I'll put it in the description for this episode as well.
Sure.
But you were talking about, the amount of effort you put into creating that shot. How I've heard a lot of photographers and videographers as well talk about, the shot or the money shot. Some people tend to express it as or call it. How do you not just shoot that shot or frame it, but how do you then pick which shot you're going to submit or which shot you're going to present to our client or which shot you're going to work with to edit? What's that process like for you?
Well, first, of course, technical inspection. You have to see if it is good enough technically, because sometimes you have a really nice shot, but it's messed up. But you made a mistake, you overexposed badly, or you move your camera or something, and it would be great if. And there is lots of shots like that. So first you reject all the bad ones. Then my process is very simple. I go through, let's say, 200 photos from a session. I go and reject hundreds for technical reasons. I go through the 100 which is okay, and just try to be a viewer. Emotions. Does it do it for me? What does it stop me? What is it? When some of them are okay, but you have 10 similar ones, so I just rate the okay 1 star. And when I go through 10 similar ones over and over, and after third or fourth time, you start to notice this one has a little bit different perspective. This one has slightly different light. Something happened here. No, that. And then you just go with your instinct, really. The one which talks to you as an image, which is like every time it stops you for a moment longer, kind of excites you a little bit more. That's the one to pick for the final edit. So that's my experience. That's how I pick my best shots. I give my instincts, my emotion, my impression room to play, and that tells me which would be the final best image I want to really edit and present to the world.
And clearly that has worked very, very well for you, because I've seen that, you've delivered stuff for like Sotheby's and other clients on that level, which is huge in the world of photography. I'm still working on my photography eye, my photographic eye, work in progress. I'll get there. What does working with drones in Dominica look like? Are there rules in place to help? Are there no rules at all? What does that look like?
Dominica, being very small, is in many aspects very easy to work with. Like in Barbados, for example, different governments did set different rules about drones. At one point, a visitor couldn't even bring the drone, it would be confiscated, which I find ridiculous, but that's just me. And Dominica does not have that kind of aggressive approach to regulations. Do it within reason. Use your brains. Be polite to others. Don't fly over private homes just above to spy and sleep around. Well, you should be fine. So there is no strict regulations about it. There is also nothing at this point, although it's being discussed, like licensing. So in a way, I am in advantage and in disadvantage, because when I was in Canada, there was no need for licensing yet. It was just starting to be a big thing. And a couple of years after I left Canada, the license started to be the important factor, and then you couldn't do commercial jobs without it. But in Dominica, when I moved, there was no licensing, and still is no licensing. So although I have enough experience to teach, I am still kind of unlicensed pilot. I didn't have it in Canada, I don't have it here. So sometimes when a big TV company calls me, like BBC or some other producers, they ask me, are you licensed drone pilot? And I have to do lots of explaining to say I am not, but I would be, but I am not. Does it do or not? It's up to you. And sometimes they use my services. Sometimes they, not to get in trouble, they just contract me with some footage they need. And I just provide the footage. Footage is footage. Do I have a license or no? That's not their problem. And just there. So that's how it is. Dominica is not strongly regulated about drones, although I expect, like everywhere else, it will come one day.
Yeah. Hey, are there a lot of other commercial operators in Dominica?
A handful. They do different things. Most of them are doing nature and a little bit of real estate. There are some people trying to do drone mapping too. Although the market is so small that you wouldn't survive just doing drone mapping, not enough clients. So it has to be a little bit of everything to really make a living from it.
Okay. So as somebody like a tourist wanting to come in with their drone, there isn't really anything that they would have to worry about, at least for now. You could just walk with it.
From DJI, no fly zones, of course.
Yeah.
Around airports. And again, Dominica being small, the no-fly zones are kind of big comparing to the whole size of the island. So big parts of nice forest and some waterfalls may be affected by the zone, and you have some restrictions, technical height on, the main restrictions. But other than that, for now, it's kind of friendly, as long as you just behave reasonably.
Is there a process in place for you to get permission to fly in those areas if you have a job that requires it?
If I do a job for a government, I can apply for temporary unlocking. They have a special department to assist with that. And that gives you a time frame for your drone to do the job. But not just Dominica, but some other islands when I go for work to do something on neighboring islands. I often unlock my drone knowing that I may have to cross the no-fly zone for 1 or 2 days. Well, that's really straightforward.
Okay. So something I came across on your website is that you also offer AI artistic images. And I know that a lot, when AI became a big thing, especially when they were able to generate images, a lot of photographers were worried about the fact that a lot of persons were worried about this is in a creative space would lose their jobs because of AI. How is it that you manage to find a way to integrate it or saw the benefit of integrating it into your service?
Well, it's the same story over and over. When drones were new, I wanted to expand. And I remember well, I started both photography and filming using film cameras, and I had a dark room in my bathroom, and just very basic black and white photography. And then digital cameras came, and that was a revolt among photographers saying, "What's this fake? This is not real photography. Forget it. It will never be real photography." And I always thought this is mostly fear of being excluded. And I was immediately tempted to try it. And even the basic cameras were still not so bad comparing to film, in my opinion. So for a while I did both, and then with the next generation of cameras, I decided I let the film go. This is the way to do it now. And now nobody says that this is fake photography and it's bad and it's not real. This is real photography. Digital cameras rule. And for fancy hobby, you can go back and do a film studio and try this in the old-fashioned way. Just indulge yourself more than do it commercially. One same with artificial intelligence, I see. I don't think it will exclude photographers, but it's just another tool. And I try and I spend lots of time learning as good creating artificial intelligence images as only possible. I created well over 10,000 images, mostly experimenting. And I'm sure it can't replace photography. It can do, to some extent, compete with photography when the need is for generic landscape. Let's say beautiful sunset on our Caribbean day with a sandy beach. And it will give you something which is nice, and in small size, it will look nice on your blog. So yeah, that way it competes. But first of all, when you expand the image, you will see lots of imperfections, lots of artifacts which kill it when you try to blow it up. Probably with time, in a couple of years, it will improve. But still, you can see it's not real. So at one point, it starts to show this is not as good as you would want. And also, you can't create exact composition you will have in mind. So if you have a task to go and do this particular waterfall at a particular time of the year to have, let's say, very sunny, very beautiful, very Caribbean look, and people know that waterfall, the artificial intelligence will always make mistakes, will assume some elements, and it won't be that waterfall. It will be similar, but it won't be that. So to really deliver the job you have to do, you still have to take your old camera, go there, wait for the nice light, and take the photo. So it expands my services. I can do something funny, something unique, something surprising. I can mix background, for example. I try now to mix backgrounds created with my portrait photography. And sometimes it adds to it kind of unexpected twist. So that's nice. But it's just another tool that won't eliminate photographers who are now saying this is fake, this is rubbish, like they said 15 years ago about digital cameras. I think it will come to a point when people will accept it can do some things, but it can't totally take out from real photography, and it will be just another tool, like many others.
Yeah. Also, that's a good perspective to have on it, because a lot of people, the first response was the fear of what it could do and what it meant for them, their jobs negatively being affected. So it's good to see somebody in that space, kind of take the bull by the horns and take advantage of its capabilities and add it to it, rather than say, it can't work, I don't want to be a part of this kind of thing.
Yeah, it can be useful, and it still communicates a message, and it can be a very useful tool. So expand your horizons. Try it, then you will really see if it's good or not. Don't jump saying this is bad without really experiencing it. That's just the only thing I would say. Try, then you have a right to say this is not for you. Try it well, and it may surprise you.
On that note, a lot of persons' introductions to photography and videography outside of course, their cell phones are drones, because a lot of instances, drones are cheaper than, digital cameras, especially the fancy ones. Do you have, or what advice do you have for somebody who is picking up their first drone and getting into photography, and also persons who are already in photography and trying to expand using a drone, or trying to expand their photography services in general?
Well, think what you need the drone for. There are different types of drones. We have the drones which I use, which are the kind of bread and butter of drone photography and video, like Mavics. And then the series of DJI Air or the Mini. So if you are just trying to use drones as your little addition to your photography, or you are just starting to see if this is something which talks to you, if this is something you want to continue, go for something simple and something you can learn quick enough to see how it does for you. So I would say between the DJI Mini or the new and really good Air 3, you can start learning with very high-end tools which fit in your pocket, and you can take them traveling, and it won't bother you much if you don't use it, because it's so small that it's just in your luggage, little package, no problem. And when you need it, you just learn on the experience you're using. That's the way I would recommend. But there are different kinds of drone, which are the race drones, FPV, and that's again depending what you want to use it. If you are, let's say, already making action videos, if you use lots of GoPro footage on your all-terrain bike or motorbike, or go on very fast action videos, then you can try one of those more tricky to operate drones, which will give you the amazing fast adrenaline kind of footage. But they are harder to learn, and don't be surprised if you lose one or two before.
So you fly FPV?
I tried just to experience it, but honestly, my personal preference is what I do, and you will see it probably in one of the clips I gave you. Flying drone, which I often offer to TV producers of nature programs, slowly driving, smooth flying through the forest, through tight spaces. That's what I love doing, because this is challenge. It takes lots of years to really go through really tight spaces in the forest, and it can deliver stunning footage, and that's much more my way of filming than just down. I
Understood.
appreciate that, and it has its use, but I enjoy more the slow, fine filming, showing all the surroundings, and going through impossible spots, just very tightly to show the beauty of the forest, for example. So that's my recommendation.
Okay. Yeah, I've lost a couple of FPV drones. Well, crashed a couple. Been through a lot of FPV drones in my time. But it is quite an experience to fly. Derek, I want to say thank you very much for coming on to this episode of the podcast. And where can persons who want to learn more about what you do and get in touch with you, find out about your services, that kind of thing, where could persons find you?
Please visit my website. Here, one of two websites I have online, which is one is Derek Galon, like my name, derekgalon.com, and another is artphotographyservices.com. The first one is more about description of my services to industry, to producers. The other one is more a portfolio with all kinds of photography presented in different galleries. So these two things. And of course, there you can find the direct contact for me, like email address or telephone. And of course, I am also on Facebook. So anyone who wants to talk to me, very welcome. Please do so.
All right, no problem. And as always, I'll put all the links to all of Derek's contact information in the description for this episode. Derek, again, thank you very much for coming on this episode. It was a pleasure having you. It was a pleasure hearing about your experiences and your background in photography. And I hope that everyone listening also enjoyed this episode as well.
Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed the talk too. Maybe I did talk too much, but
Never. No, you're good.
one thing I would just add, and remember,
Sure.
drone photography and video became extremely useful after Hurricane Maria.
Right.
We had that totally devastating Category 5 Hurricane Maria 7 years ago. Well, I had that was a Phantom 4 at that time. And I did lots of documentary footage of damage to infrastructure, to the city of Roseau, our capital, to little places which were totally trashed, and to the nature, the waterfalls, forest. And that footage later on became the most in demand by media, which wanted to show Dominica the extent of damage that they were using that footage to show people what Category 5 really can do to a small island like ours. So that was extremely good that I had that drone and it wasn't damaged by hurricane. I had to fly just 2-3 days after hurricane using generator to load batteries, and that was a very good thing. I had it for documentary purposes.
Yeah, and I'd actually being used a lot for that purpose still to this day, and even more because I know a person in Montserrat, and she was a part of the Leslie Ryan. I did an episode with her earlier this year, and she was a part of the response to
Volcano.
No, she's part of the mapping of the response as well in Montserrat, but the part of the response for Carriacou, for I think that was Helene, when Helene passed. And there was a lot of devastation in Carriacou, and she was a part of the team that went to map and provide that same sort of service to the response teams over there.
Yeah, so that's another use documentary, just to show the world what's happening.
Yeah, that's one of those things that is good that we have it, and it's bad that we have to go through it.
So as much as I am happy I did that, I hope I don't have to do it again.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, Derek, I'll let you head out. Thank you very much again for coming on the episode, and I hope everyone enjoyed.
Ellen, it was really nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Thank you to all of you listening to Wake Up.